What is up there, everyone? It's the Governor Gamertag here, and I'm here for episode 3 of The Breakdown. Now today I'm going to be talking about game mechanics. Now on Call of Duty Ghosts, I personally find hit detection is good. I play on PS4 and I find it's really consistent. I rarely end up where I'm not actually getting hit detection, and on PS4 I do generally have a really good connection. So in that respect, game mechanics have worked, seeing as they did remove theatre before the game started, and that may be one of the main causes of lag. It's just kind of annoying that it means that recording gameplays is a lot more difficult for me. Now a new game mechanic is the slide feature, where if you're sprinting and you hold the crouch button down as if you were going to go prone, your guy will then do a tactical slide. You actually seem to gain some momentum from doing it. The features with it is that you can actually kind of slide downstairs, which is kind of odd, but also if you slide up to a curb, you will stop at the curb, so it can not always work, but I find it really effective to get to cover, and it does look pretty awesome. I kind of prefer it to the dolphin dive because it doesn't actually harm you in any way. But in some ways the dolphin dive did have its uses, like if you wanted to randomly jump through a window or something, then the dolphin dive was a bit more effective. Now another new game mechanic they put in this game is they put contextual leaning. Now it is a very useful tactic if you use it properly, so you'd go up to a corner and you check around the corner, see if anyone's in a room or down a corridor, and then you'd move out and move up to your next line of cover. That's if you were using it as a tactical thing. But often a lot of people just use it cheaply because it's not quite been perfected yet. It's a nice idea that they tried, but it was a case of it at the moment it's not quite a natural lean, because if you've seen it online, what happens is sort of at the waist your body just sort of skews out and it's quite unnatural looking. And it also has meant that it is quite easy to abuse because you can lean out and then move slightly further into cover so that very little of your body is actually exposed. I think that if they're going to improve that, the way it should be is that your character kind of half steps out and leans. So instead of it just being the top half of your body, which looks really unnatural and can be quite easily abused, if your character actually physically half of his body steps out and they're leaning around the corner, that would be a much more fair way of doing it, and it wouldn't be quite as easy to abuse and would actually look a lot more natural, and wouldn't be quite, because that's one thing, when you see someone leaning, it's also really off-putting because it's like, what the hell's wrong with that person? And so yeah, that would be a way I would improve the leaning mechanic. Now another thing which I'm going to class as a new game mechanic, because it does kind of change how the game plays, is field orders. Now if you don't know what they are, when the first person on the map dies, they drop a blue briefcase, which is the field order. The person who runs over that will then gain access to the field order. It will give them a random challenge to do, and if they complete the challenge they will get a care package. Now the challenges go from quite difficult ones, so as much as some people may not see it as difficult, get a kill with your secondary weapon, which is, well, when you're up against assault rifles like Remington R5s and stuff, getting a kill with your sidearm can be quite difficult, and getting kills while prone is for me quite difficult because I rarely go prone. And there are other various challenges which are a kill while jumping. That is the most difficult one for me because I just have a regular controller and I find jump shotting really difficult. And then it also has easy ones like get a 3 kills without 3 non-kill streak kills, get a kill with a headshot. They're pretty easy to pretty difficult challenges, which does make it interesting because it means it will test your kind of skill as a player, or luck in some cases, because sometimes you do get quite lucky. I like it because it changes the way the game plays, because you can try and do the field order and it can be quite beneficial to you, as it will reward you. It may reward you with a SATCOM. It's still a care package that's random, but they do seem to favour getting the chem strike or the mortar strike. Originally it did seem to favour getting Michael Myers, but I actually find that generally all I ever get is Trinity rockets, which really sucks. I really want to try the Michael Myers thing, but generally it does favour the sort of known as Levolution kind of kill streaks. As much as it's quite cool, the mortar strike I think is fair because you can easily run to cover and it won't necessarily hit you. It hits certain spots on the map and it's not necessarily going to kill you. But I don't like that you can get a KEM and a care package. That gets really irritating. And I understand why they did it on Strike Zone, because then you can see the Levolution. It's oh, this is actually quite a cool thing. but it does get really annoying that like the amount of times I've been playing Blitz and my team will just be winning because we are the better team, and then the enemy gets a KEM strike and they gain about 3 or 4 points on us, and then they can win the game because they've had the advantage of calling in a nuke, which can be quite unfair and it does get quite annoying. And yeah, the last thing that I want to talk about is the interactive map element. I'm not going to say destructive because it is more actually sort of interactive than destructive, because they're not really destructible. It's a case of some parts of the maps you can destroy parts of, but it's not proper destruction. You actually have to like breach it, or you can throw an explosive on it, but most people just breach it because it's so much easier. And a way it's a nice idea because it does sort of have extra ways people can play. You can open up your new lines of sight, and you can open new flanking routes. But it's a case of although I'm going to give them credit that they've done a fairly good job, seeing that the game engine, which they should have replaced by now but haven't, is from the 1990s. So to what they have done, I suppose, is a creditable achievement on such an old game engine. But if they were going to improve it, what I would do is actually, because when you go into a multiplayer map, the map is already kind of like half destroyed. What I think they should do is they should change it so the map is kind of almost in pristine condition, like you've just gone there. Yeah, it can have some vegetation growing everywhere, but don't have like, you could have like boarded up windows. The walls should all be intact, and then what happens is as you play through the map, players can destroy the map to a certain extent. It doesn't need to go to Battlefield scale where everything just can be flattened, but like what it should do is it should start in like a really good condition, and then like the condition you spawn into a map now, so like Warhawk, where you've got some of the walls are broken, fences got panels missing. What it should be is that you go from the pristine condition, and as you play you can get it to that stage, kind of like this destruction in Battlefield 3 Close Quarters, where you could change like some walls, blow up some walls, change some lines of sight, but the map itself would still stay intact. That is how I would improve the interactive map elements, to make them actually destructive and to still keep the flow of the game going. I really hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Please leave a like if you've enjoyed, and feel free to leave feedback. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll be doing much more of this series. This has been the Governor Gamertag, and I'll see you in another video.